Hey beauties, in this tutorial I'll show you how to use eyeshadow to fill in your brows. The first thing you need is a clean spoolie, and you're going to use it to brush through your brow hairs and pushing them upwards, combing them out so they're nice and groomed. And then Mac's Brow Finisher in Wheat to just push through your brow hairs and hold the hairs in place. It's just a nice wax. It shapes your brows for you and acts as a slightly sticky base so you can apply the shadow atop of it. Then, with Mac's 266 angled brush, you're going to apply any dark brown shadow like Espresso or Brun and load it onto your brush, then begin to shape your brow. I start by tracing the edges of my arch and heavily filling in the tail, just outlining the shape that I want my eyebrow to take. Then I work towards the inner corner of my brow in short, sketchy strokes. I'm basically imitating drawing in brow hairs and spreading the shadow evenly across my brow. The product should start to thin out as it reaches your inner corner, which is good because you want the most concentration of color in the tail where it's most likely to be drowned out by the flash of a camera. But really, you don't really need to worry about how much you apply because you can fix it all later. I like to go back in and fill in the sparse areas where I may have missed some spots, and I push the brown shadow through my brows. Overfill, overfill. I know it looks crazy, but that's where the spoolie comes in again. Drag the spoolie through your overfilled brows and wow, right? It just softens up the color. Like magic! So you just go through and soften up your brows as much as you need until you reach the depth of color that you prefer. I tend not to touch the tail of my brow at all because, once again, that area is typically washed out in photographs, so it's a good idea to leave it strong. And if you oversoften, just go ahead and fill in those areas again with your MAC 266 and whatever's left on that brush. Softening your brows just gives you a much more natural look. Then just take a concealer brush, I'm using the MAC 249, and with your concealer, swipe some on and begin to underline your brow, shaping the bottom edge and leaving it nice and crisp. This makes your brow pop a little more, just so that the distinction between your skin and brow is very definite and crisp. You can also shape your brow on top. So here I'm softening the arch and rounding it out with my concealer, as well as sharpening up the tail and just making my brow pop all over by outlining the entire thing with concealer and blending it out slightly. The concealer acts as sort of an eraser of sorts, so if you added too much and went out of line or just don't like the overall shape of your brow, you can go in and fix things. It's better to do this after you've completed both brows, so that way you can create the symmetry by making them both perfectly even. And that's it, a perfectly shaped, terrific brow. Looks 10 times better than my other brow, that's for sure. So yeah, I hope you liked it and learned something new. Thanks for watching Makeup by Sherry.